Today I'm thinking of doing a wrap up of the month of May because I was in a bookish mood this whole month, so I read quite a lot. Yeah, let's just start at the top of the list I have in my journal and hope that Kitty doesn't do anything to the camera. Okay. So, first, I read Midnight Blue by Simone van der Vlugt. I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I think. But this is set in 1655. So there's themes of the plague. There's it's set in the Netherlands, in like Amsterdam and Delft, and it's about a young woman who wants to get away from her tiny village. She's pretty good at like art, but that doesn't get her any money, so she gets a job as a housekeeper, and then that eventually leads her to joining in the beginnings of Delft pottery, which I found pretty interesting. It's written quite fast. I didn't really like the main character that much, but it was fine. So yeah, that was the first one. Second, I finished The Memory Police, which I've already ranted about, so I won't bore you. I didn't really like this book, but that's mostly because I don't like the creepiness that Yoko Ogawa puts in her books, so you might like it. Next, I read Dealing with Dragons by Patricia Wrede. And this is a children's book about a princess who isn't really interested in all the princessy things. So she goes off to be with dragons, and I found it, like, it had vibes that reminded me of Howl's Moving Castle. She's strong, she knows what she wants, she can solve problems, it's great. And I found it, really good, uplifting, fast read, and I recommend it. Next, I reread Knit One, Girl One by Shira Glassman. It's a short, like a novella romance, and I reread it because I needed something cute, and it's cute. So, yep. And also there's themes of yarn and knitting and colouring, so it's up my street. Next, I read Playing House by Ruby Lang, and this was a very cute, good romance about it's contemporary, about two people who are both into urban planning, and finding their common ground, and it was really good, and it tackled some of the like modern problems with romance. Next, I read The Pale Dreamer by Samantha Shannon, which I recommended, I think, when I was talking about free books. It was a prequel to The Bone Season, which I have here. It was good. It didn't have as much like meat on the bones as Bone Season and the books, but that's to be expected from a novella. It was cool. You could see sort of where, me having already read the books, I could sort of see the trajectory they were on, and that was fun. Next, I read the next book in the Enchanted Forest series by Patricia Wrede, Searching for Dragons, and I wasn't taken with the main character in the same way in this book, but it was fun. It was good story and a good escape. I really recommend these books as escape. So like a middle grade adventure, and yeah, it was good. Then I reread The Flatshare by Beth O'Leary because I needed something cute again. And yeah, it was cute. I loved the people I was supposed to love. I hated the people I was supposed to hate. And yeah, it was as good as last time I read it. And it's, yeah, cute romance that is mostly fade to black. So if you're looking for hot sex, then you won't find it. But yeah, it's a very nice romance book. Next, I read The Magpie Lord by KJ Charles, and yeah, this was a little bit more sexy. It was also full of magic, and like a magic system that I'd never sort of heard of before. That was interesting. The tension was a little bit much for me. Like, there was someone out to get the main character, like to murder him, and that was a little bit too much. I was afraid I would get nightmares from this book, honestly, but I didn't. Lucky me. But yeah, in amongst all the creepy and scary, there was a great romance, and I enjoyed it. Next, I finished 2 Cures for Love, which I started in April. Yeah, I enjoyed this. There's a lot of riffing on other people's works, and some of it poking a little bit fun of it. So that was nice, especially since I had some like information about these other poets that she was riffing off. I'd had a sort of inkling of what their style was, and that made it much better. Then finally I read, this was yesterday and the day before, Far After Gold by Jen Black. It's a romance set in I think the 600s and 700s in Scotland, so like Viking ages. And yeah, this Scottish girl has been captured by raiders and sold as a slave, and the guy who buys her is a Viking guy. I think the author was very she really wanted to debunk some myths surrounding Vikings, but it wasn't a big revelation to me because I already know that those myths are not true. But yeah, it was a good novel. I liked that everything was. This might be a spoiler. I don't know if this is a spoiler, but I like when things are consensual in books I read, and this was consensual. Like that, I wasn't expecting that really from the premise, so I appreciated that a lot. Otherwise, I mean, the ebook that I read, it had a bit of there were some typos and some like formatting weirdness. Like a lot of spaces had gone, which was weird. So it pulled me out a little bit of the story, but otherwise, like, it was an okay romance. And then I did not finish 2 books, and these are the 2 books I did not finish. How To by Randall Munroe and The Pursuit of Love by Nancy Mitford. These are pretty different. How To is about it's absurd solutions to things. So there's one chapter about moving house, And he's like, oh, so you want to move, but you don't want to pack. How about moving your whole house? And then he goes into sort of detailed physics explanations of how you could possibly move your whole house. Like, at the end, I think he does it with rockets. So, yeah, it's absurd and a bit mind-bendy, and I just couldn't handle it. Every time I picked it up, I was just like, overload, brain can't handle, no. So I thought, okay, it can go on the shelf until I want to pick it up again, instead of torturing myself with it. Because it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be funny, so yeah, I'll wait until I might find it funny. And then we have The Pursuit of Love, which is kind of like, it's a story about high society in the sort of 30s and 40s, I think maybe into the 50s, in England. So like the aristocracy, or like that higher classes. But yeah, and it's done with quite a lot of wit, so I could see the wit in it, but I was more interested in the person who was telling the story, like the character who was telling the story, and not like the story that was being told. So yeah, the main girl who this is a story about is, well, I found her naive and kind of stupid, and I could, like, you should expect that from a 16-year-old, of course, but I was fed up. I didn't want to read anymore. And yeah, this was basically about her trying to find true love and failing miserably. I got about like 74 pages in-ish, I don't know, and I just didn't care. I just didn't care about any of the characters. So I stopped reading it. So that was my very bookish May, and yeah, I doubt many of my other months will be as filled with books, but this was fun. I still have plenty of books on my TBR. I'm trying to read the books I own at the moment, but it's so easy to buy books from Amazon and get them delivered to your Kindle and get a new fresh book and then just read that. Whoops. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.